Come, hear the tale of our ragtag crew, brought together upon a mysterious island by fate. They have lost, they have won, and now, alongside a rebel faction, the truth on the wind, they fight against the evil Eterines. Behind it all, an alien being of immeasurable power begins to rise once again. As the land grows cold, our party stands as a light in the darkness. Now, welcome to the Swordcast Adventures.
Welcome back, my fair friends and fellow adventurers. Come listen as I, Metolius Blackthorn, recount the happenings in our last episode. Having returned from the Molten Pinnacles, a fiery group of mountains on the southwestern island of Urite Onto, the party decided to have a discussion with the Pirate King of Oceanshade in regards to our reward for slaying the red dragon known as the Molten Scourge. Our reward being a ship to carry us through the waters of Dakator and a crew to run it in our absence. Next came the discussion about where to head next, and after some time it was decided that we would travel to the dwarven city of Kher Darom. We were to depart at noon the following day, and much merriment followed that night. I declined to partake as I had much desire to take in and practice the knowledge from the manual that we had found in the Dragon's Hoard. Later on that evening, Amelia and Silence exchanged drunken but heartfelt words on the docks of Oceanshade. The next morning we rose, sought protection from the temples of Umberlee and Talos. We gave some of our earnings from the dragon to Silence for our friends back in Firelit Thicket. I also asked Silence if she would make sure that the ashes of our friend Hawk, who had died by Cassandra's hand, were returned to be laid to rest within the boughs of his home. As we departed the next day, I used the time spent on our journey to increase my strength using the manual of gainful exercise. On the morning of the third day, our ship pulled into the sleepy fishing village of Stormhaven. Find out what awaits us on the next leg of our journey on this episode of the Swordcast Adventures.
You find yourself on the deck of this ship after traveling a few days, now in this crook of a corner, a mountain range lying ahead of you. Past this tall bastion off on the shore, past what you can guess to be Esterden, this huge, high-walled, just fortification over to the east. As you make it back to Dakator, you now find in front of you a much smaller, much more just a hole in the wall of a town. Its tiny, small ships lie around. They all seem to be like fishing vessels. This town is decidedly small. A stormy but sleepy fishing village, similar to things like Ostwald. Here, you notice that all around your base standard fishermen just seem to troll the waters. You even see a few odd looks at this large ship, comparatively, that begins to kind of pull towards port. And you definitely get some odd stares from a few of those smaller ships that you pass. As the crew kind of makes their way around and starts to pull sail and get ready to drop anchor, you hear a kind of over the side, you hear a help!
And we're at the dock now?
Not at the dock, you're still kind of pulling into the port itself. But over the side, kind of from us, just it seems like just a person like over the edge is kind of calling to you. Help!
What do we see when we look at this person?
You see a small fishing vessel, probably no bigger than a dinghy. Two people, specifically, and one of them stares up at you standing in this ship, hands cupped around its face. He looks like a dwarf. A long, well-maintained beard kind of tied down in a few braids. A heavy coat to kind of cut against the cold morning air. And he just kind of goes, "Hail! Hello?"
I'll come to the side and just say, "Hail and well met, stranger."
Are you lost?
I think we mean to be here. Hey, do we mean to be here? Where's the place
Yes.
we're about to be? No, we're not lost. Are you lost?
No. Been here for quite some time now. I just make sure. I kind of like, you see him kind of turn back to his companion, and like there's a back and forth. You can think you hear the sound of, no, they're not lost. Well, welcome to Stormhaven.
They're really friendly here, guys. Like, they're nice here. Let's try not to fuck that up.
Indeed, a warm welcome is a change of pace. A delightful change one.
As you continue moving forward, you get probably about like 200-300 feet away from the actual docks themselves. None of the docks seem large enough for this ship. It just doesn't seem like you'd be able to, like, you'd have to drop anchor and kind of row in.
Okay. Row that motherfucker in. All right. Let's do that then.
Okay, you kind of impart that upon the crew, get them all ready as they prepare the dinghy. You hear the anchor with the sound of chains clicking as they run through the porthole, and a splash as the anchor hits water.
Who's gonna row us in? Because that should be somebody on the crew, right? So they can take the boat back.
Is that what you're asking?
Oh
Yeah,
good
definitely.
point.
Yeah. It's our ship. We're definitely having somebody, like one of the crew, row us in and then take the boat back. Plus, because it looks cooler.
How big is our boat? How many people can it hold on the way in?
The dinghy?
Yeah.
You should be able to fit like you all and one other person. If you like, a 6 people would be fine for a small rowboat.
All right. I'm definitely going to stand up on the ship, or I'll stand up on the boat as I go in, because I got a whole pirate captain thing that I have to nurture. It's an image. So,
Is Captain Morgan your way into this town?
fuck yes.
So Ogden kind of goes, you're all heading in. I'll just keep an eye here.
Yeah, maintain the ship, kill anybody that comes on board without permission, and then, just kill anyone that you just think might come on board without permission, but not the fisher folk. They seem nice.
Then who am I supposed to kill?
Use your best discretion.
But not the fisher folk.
I'd prefer if you didn't. They're just fishing.
Yeah, but what if that's all that's here? Are you asking me to kill someone before you get back?
I mean, I'm not telling you not to. Use your best judgment.
His head kind of cocks at that, just like, right, will do.
All right, and we're off.
You just, as you go over the side, you hear, okay, no killing. As Ogden gives a call out to everyone on the ship.
The crew's like, "Aww."
For the record, I like Ogden. It's good people.
You hear the sound of about 50 cutlasses sheathed. Yeah, so you hit water and begin to, just one of the base crewmen is just paddling you in. Grimtug, you leading the charge, sitting on the front of the ship as you do.
Yep. Standing up, Captain Morgan style.
Of course. Again, another round of random what seemed to be fishermen or fisher folk, dock workers as they were, look at you with wide eyes and quizzical looks.
I sure hope so.
Amelia, you're back to just normal Amelia, correct?
Yep.
Okay, just double checking.
Mask on and everything.
As you dock and everyone disembarks, the crewman just goes, you sure you don't want me to tie it up here and just wait for you? You want me to go back to the ship?
You might end up being here for a while. I think just keep an eye out for us.
Okay, will do.
I don't know how long we're going to be here.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry about it. We'll be able to send word.
Yes, ma'am. Will do. And he just, as you're all out of the ship, he kicks off.
It's yes, Captain, but you'll get it next time.
Yes, Captain.
There we go. I just give him a big clap on the shoulder.
I think your clap on the shoulder is enough to kind of like push him off from the dock, and he takes that and just kind of uses the oar to push himself off the rest of the way, and with both he kind of starts rowing back to the ship.
Point of order, Metolius is not there. He's sleeping on the ship.
Oh, shit. What? I don't know if we would have gone in without you.
Oh, well. You guys were describing, I didn't want to interrupt anyone, so.
I think we definitely would have woken you up.
Well, I'm not leaving until I get a long rest.
All right, well then, fuck it, we're here. We would have gone in without you.
Yeah, Metolius is dead tired. He's like he would have wrapped up his training like that morning, and he's only had like 3 hours of sleep in the last 2 days, so he is going to crash out for 8 hours.
All right, well, do your thing.
Okay.
So strong.
Just gonna use my bicep as a pillow.
Yeah, no, it's too hard. I need softer material.
So he goes and sleeps on some rocks. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Dungeon Master knows what I'm talking about.
I got this. So you find yourself in the middle of this exceptionally sleepy fishing village. Small huts line the coast, kind of leading up to and butting up with the mountainside. You do notice a very large kind of arch off on the far, far side of the town. It is closed, but it is there. It seems like a large stone slab, and it's just like over the top of the actual houses themselves, the huts. But yeah, you see all these people that kind of look heavy cloaks, heavy boots, just good old-fashioned worker folk. They a lot of them, most of them that you see looks, I'd say it's a good, like, almost a 50-50 split. You see a decent amount of humans, but there are a good portion of dwarves kind of filtered in. There's also maybe some half-dwarf individuals, ones who look like they have dwarven stock in their lineage. But all of them, again,
Like Eric. It's a white dude.
Yeah. But all of them kind of look at you in a sense of awe, wonder, but more so on just like quizzical nature. And you have one who kind of, he seems to have a small, like a leather-bound notebook in his grip. Kind of walks up, and this seems to be a human. He walks up to you all and goes, hello. Sorry to bother. We don't usually get a lot of visitors here.
If you're from Umberly, we already paid a bunch of money.
No.
No?
How can
What
you
about
be
the...
from Umberly?
No way, no other, like, sea gods sent you to, like, try and tax us money?
No, I'm just the Dockmaster, and I was just checking in with you. Are you, again, is your ship okay?
That's great. It's, perfect.
Well, that's good.
Ship shape, everything's looking great.
That's very good. No, most of again, this is not a normal thing. I would say we haven't had visitors in quite some time, so I just wanted to check in and make sure that everything was okay. I mean, you didn't seem to come in rushed, but that's good. Well, welcome.
Welcome, Shipmaster. What is your name?
Roderick.
Pleasure to meet you, Roderick, and I'll just hold out my hand.
Pleasure as well. Well, welcome to Stormhaven. I guess if need be, we do have your ship, but we do have the Hansi Stein if you're looking for a drink or anything. I don't really know. Again, this is kind of a new one on me for quite some time. Usually if someone comes in, it's because their ship's damaged. Usually they pass by us pretty easily. But feel free to make yourself at home.
We're just touring Docatur. We, from the mainland, we're making our way around, just kind of seeing what there is to see.
Interesting.
Okay, tell me about the surrounding area.
Well, there's mountains, lots of mountains.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What else?
What are you looking to know? I mean, this
What's
is
up with that big arch over there?
Oh, that was an entrance to from what I remember, it's the entrance to the Dwarven city that was there.
Oh yeah? It's not there anymore?
Oh, it is, but it's been sealed off.
Are you referring to Kher Darom?
Yes, that's its name.
Interesting. It's been sealed. How long has it been sealed for?
Longer than I've been alive. But from the teachings that I've learned, it's been about 100 years now.
I see. And do you know why it was sealed off?
I have some rumors and some, fish stories, but if you're really looking for it, I could bring you to the elders. They'd probably know a little bit more.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a mystery. I'm curious. My curiosity is piqued.
This is Elduin. He's mostly on this for information gathering.
A curious mind.
Everybody else,
I would say that has happened even less than anyone showing up on our shores. So Yes. Here, I will find someone to lead you to the elders. I can't, leave my post. There are.
Well, I don't think you're probably going to get that many ships coming in. How about we say we pay you 5 gold and you just take us?
He kind of looks at you quizzically. Looks at you just like, I mean, sure, but I could easily have just a dock hand to bring you. That's fine.
Bad negotiator.
I'm not looking to negotiate. I have my job and I'm doing it to do it. But if you need me to bring you, that's fine. I'm happy to.
Yeah, come on.
Okay. He kind of just he just looks a little off-put by this, but not like in a terribly bad way. Just like, okay, I guess. He goes over to one of the younger looking dwarf, probably older than him, but he goes up to him and, they kind of back and forth on a few words, and he hands them the ledger over to him.
Eldwin, are you still wearing your creepy mask, Eldwin?
No.
Okay.
I did not feel like I needed to be intimidating here in this particular location.
Okay,
That's good.
sorry. I just wanted to clarify. I was like, because we look like we're up to no fucking good. So I was just thinking that these guys are very trusting, but whatever, it's cool. They're humble folks. They're, backwoods fisher folk.
Yes, I suppose there is a security and an anonymity.
Cool. All right. Sorry, I just wanted to know if Eldon was wearing his creepy mask.
No, that's fine. It's totally.
I mean, if you want, it could be arranged. But...
Don't make it seem like I want to. Don't put this fucking on me. Like, don't you dare! This was your decision. You fucking stick with it.
I will. I will be selective about it as well.
So yeah, he starts walking you through. From, I would say, a base look, you could tell that there probably isn't more than 200 people in total that live here. This is a very small village. And that's just cursory glance. You see people all around. But they all seem to be kind of just living their life. They all seem to be doing what they do. They all seem to have jobs and keep the village alive.
Aesthetically, does it look like dwarven architecture, like the buildings look?
No, this seems much more human in its make. There are some dwarven things that catch your eye. Things like there is kind of what looks to be a shrine that may be in disrepair as you pass by it, but that looks like it could be dwarven architecture. And a few of the buildings definitely house that, still have that kind of nice cut stone edge compared to a few of the thatched roofs huts that you pass by as well.
Roderick, I'm curious, do you happen to have a local Fletcher?
That's for fletching. Is that arrows?
Yes, it is. I happen to be a bit of a bow wielder myself, and
there's probably a craftsman or two that could, but we don't really deal in the way of archery here.
I see.
That doesn't mean that we couldn't find someone who could work on it. There are people who know how to use the bow.
Excellent, yes. Well, perhaps later then.
Okay. Yes. I guess I'm just with you all day. That's fine.
It's kind of weird, guys, that the pirate city was named Ocean Shade and this place was named Stormhaven, because I feel like they should switch names. Stormhaven sounds like it'd be a place that's way more badass.
Is there a storm happening right now, or?
No, but you did see, as you passed by kind of the middle northern portion of the map, pretty much as you pass through the center portion north of Dakator, you did notice some pretty high storm clouds that didn't seem to go away over the course of the day that you rode through. So it is a stormy area, but right now there is no storm.
All right then.
So he moves through. You find a large, long building, and he kind of he says, if you wouldn't mind waiting outside, just for a moment, I won't be long. There doesn't even seem to be guards or anything like that. He just, he opens the door, he walks in, he's in there for no more than a minute or two. And he walks out and goes, the elders will see you now. They're happy to take guests. Please, come in.
We enter?
Yeah. The four of you enter, And as you do, you see this long hall, a decently made table that looks like it could have been made out of a ship's hull, maybe repurposed wood. Kind of lining the center of this room, you see what look to be about 5 older individuals kind of lined on the table and a few more chairs all around. Roderick brings you over to the table, and I didn't get your name, did I? I didn't. I apologize. That's kind of was part of the book, and then we got off topic quickly. Is there someone I should introduce you as?
Is he talking to somebody in particular?
You effectively, Grimtuck, because you would be the person who's been leading the charge on this.
Okay. My name's Grimtuck.
Should it be Captain Grimtuck?
Yes. Yeah, that's right. It's taking a little bit to get used to it again. It's like a pair of pants, you know, if you don't wear them for a while, and then they got to like stretch a little bit around you. And then after a while, because you wear them, you know, just the one pair for like a couple months, then it just fits you great. But I'm still putting those pants back on.
Captain Grimtuck, excellent. So he turns...
I love your folksy wisdom.
Grimtuck of the parable.
Yeah.
The true warrior poet.
He will be a barbarian by the end of this.
Yeah.
So he turns away from the 4 of you and turns back towards the council and goes, members of the council, this is Captain Grimtuck and his crew. They would like to speak with you. They have questions about the arch, the door, and I guess the outlying area. And I figure ones of your stature would be best to tell him. And you see this older dwarven woman kind of go, thank you. Thank you very much. Please, have them sit. And a few of the other council members. There's probably like 2 dwarves and like 3 humans, all varying ages, but all of them look later in years. He turns around and goes, yes, the council will see you now. Please take a seat. And he walks back after he kind of gives you the go-ahead and walks back. You hear the door close, and you know, if you look back, you notice him standing against the wall, kind of waiting.
Cool. I think I would have a seat as directed.
Mm-hmm.
Did the rest of you guys sit down, or are you okay? I was like, if you're all just like lurking behind me, that also is kind of cool, but it would be rude.
If you want to send a message.
It's true.
So the older dwarven female kind of chimes in first and goes, my name is Redla Copperteeth. Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
It is not often, you've probably already heard this, but it is not often that we get such visitors. One's inquisitive on the history of the area. It is not the general...
Sorry. We, I hate to say that we, I'm sure you're aware, didn't come here to see the sights of Stormhaven. Our interest lies in Kher Darom. Darom? Am I saying that right, Eldwin?
Kher Darom.
Thank you, Kher Darom. But I understand that you have sealed it.
It was not by our hand that it was sealed, but I do understand the misconception.
What can you tell us about this door?
And you see an older, probably well within his like 60s, late 60s human, very like long tied back gray hair, a thick gray beard, and goes, my name is Tamar Augerbell. My family told me that they closed off the door after a plague was found within the halls of the city.
Oh, fuck. I hate plagues. Being sick is the worst.
You see Redall kind of chiming goes, yes, it is true. My people left Kher Darom when the plague hit. It was very fast acting. We did not know exactly what happened. It seemed as though our miners had dug a little too far and had released something below, something that was trapped within the stone itself. Luckily...
What can you tell us about this sickness? What is it? Do you know any of the symptoms or anything like that?
The symptoms themselves, lost to time. Even I do not remember them. for we were basically shoved out to the door. I can tell you that before, Kher Darom was a prosperous town. Trades made between us, them, and the world around were prevalent. But we even had, or at least villages had, shops and citizens that lived within the dwarven city itself. But as soon as the plague began, as soon as it was released, they made for all civilians who were not infected to leave.
Oh, well, fuck. You don't have anything like texts or books that show what happened or like what kind of sickness it is?
We do not keep such things. I can tell you that, it was deadly and fast-acting, but did not spread like your normal, as many of us were able to get out.
And you've had no contact with them since?
They locked themselves away behind a magic barrier. We have not been able to talk nor see any from the lack of contact. They were supposed to reply and open up when and if they found some form of cure. It has been 100 years. If they have not yet, I do not think there's anyone else in there.
Oh, shit. What do you guys think?
We should definitely go inspect this door. I'm very curious about it.
But nothing past the door, right?
Well, the door itself is not the magic seal. That is just a slab of rock, one to make sure that no inquisitive travelers...
Wouldn't know any of those.
You all, withholding. Let's say inquisitive citizens to try and find their way back within the city. We are not concerned about people examining or even exploring. Just, let's say it has more become now a legend, one to keep our children in line. So we, out of respect and worry, do not disturb it. We also, I do not believe any of us could actually do it ourselves. It's very heavy.
Well, there's no point beating around the bush now. We're definitely here for Kher Darom, and whatever that looks like, I don't know, we may have to try to go in to Kher Darom.
We wouldn't stop you. It is not our place to halt individuals. We are not set to be protectors. We are just the living remnant of any who survived. But let me not say that in pain or in sadness. The dwarves who lived there were a proud and storied people. And my bloodline does come from there. So thankfully, if we had escaped, which we did, then our line can stay, and the people of Kher Darom still live on, just now here. If you wish to explore it, it is yours to explore. If you find a way in, it is yours to do so.
All right. You guys are pretty laid back over here. I appreciate that.
We have, again, as our man, as she kind of points over to the door. As he stated, obviously, we are not one for many visitors, but many visitors have yet to prove us wrong in allowing them access. We find that being inviting offers, what's the phrase? You can attract as many flies with vinegar as honey.
I don't think that's the phrase, but
Is that not the phrase?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. But anyways, well, I think that's all we needed to know. I thank you for your time. If there's anything you would like of us or anything you need of us, by all means. I don't know how long we'll be here. I'm sure you can see our ship weighed anchor out in front of your village. It's the one with in Dragon Skull attached to the front. So you can't miss it. It's very big. The skull, not the boat. The boat's middle size, medium size. You guys think it's about medium size? It's not the biggest boat you've seen, but it's pretty big. It's bigger than your boats. But yeah. So anyways, sorry. I think we're gonna be going.
You hear this sharp, high pitch, just wait.
Oh,
The what seems to be the oldest of the dwarves in there. I apologize.
sorry, I thought you were asleep. That scared the shit out of me.
I was.
Oh,
And you see Red All kind of look over at him, and she go, Bartras, stop. He goes, no, they should know. And he kind of looks at you and goes, the disease was the miner's woe. At least that's what we all called it. Ran rampant through the city, but thankfully, our leaders were able to kind of shuffle us off. And she said, I remember the great leader. Not that great leader, but the great leader. When he was alive, it was before that. Just know that the city has history, and you should be wary and respectful. Yorig deserves that much.
Yorig?
Yorig Dust Hand, the old king of the city.
Yorig. Interesting. Were you familiar with Yorig? Did you know Yorig personally?
I knew him. I was a child. He was a hero.
And you say he was king? King when this plague happened?
No, before that. 10 years out, about, before the miners found it. He had passed.
And do you know what the plague was? Like what it did to people?
Killed them. Blood seeping from ears and eyes. Terrible pain. A screaming death.
Did you know anyone that was sick?
We've all known, any of us, of the mountain folk. We all knew people who got sick and died. And you see a couple of the other dwarfs in the room, kind of like lower their head. We don't exactly like talking about it, but it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't know. I don't know if it's still there, but they did not return. They did not come out. So, even if it's not, neither is anyone else.
Are you guys sure we want to go to Kher Darom first? Like, this place seems like a fucking dangerous place. Like, I'll kill anything, but like, plague? Can't fight a plague.
If they are all dead, then the plague probably expired with them.
Oh, I guess that's probably a good point. Okay.
It is a virus. It needs a host. Or my understanding of viruses is wrong.
Unless it's the ground itself that's making them sick. Some places are cursed.
We do not need to go down into the mines, do we? We only need to go to Yorig's. Oh, wait. I guess I'm not going to say this in front of everybody.
Go to Yorig's city. Go to Yorig's city. Yeah. I got you, buddy. Yep, city. That's where we're going, to Kher Darom.
If you're going in the city, just remember that each to their own. You will know what that means.
If we get to the city, how will we find the keep or the royal chambers?
You'll know. You'll see it. Do not worry.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be like a big palace or something badass.
Stare for the crystal that shines still. There, York sleeps. And you hear female dwarf chime in. It's like, enough riddles. Yes, York has a tomb that is very prominent in the city. He goes, bah! He kind of goes back, and you see as he kind of leans back, he kind of...
I take it there have been others that have come searching for this as well. Sounds like.
Not for quite some time. Really, not ever. Again, we use this as a hope. The story as a hope to keep our young and any of the youth of the village from going in. No, we have not seen anyone come to find a way to Kher Darom. From what I remember, there are other entrances. Mayhaps if they did, they tried there too. But mayhaps they be just as locked as this one.
If we are successful of cleansing it, we'll let you know. Maybe you can move back in. Sounds like a nice place.
I feel that not many of the humans of our village would enjoy the Undermountain life, and I think it would just bring up too many sad memories to see familiar corners. But I appreciate it.
Man, nobody in Dagator wants to return to their ancestral homeland, and it's really weird to me. Silence didn't want to, now these guys, like...
Think about this. And she kind of chimes in as you're saying... Are you saying that out loud?
Yeah, of course. I have no filter.
She looks at you and goes, what makes you think I am not still there? And she kind of looks around. And you see, like, the 5 individuals there, but even if this wasn't inside of the mountain, this was still just as much home as anywhere else.
Alright. Fair enough. Well, again, thank you for your time.
Of course. And feel free to stay as long as you wish.
I don't think that's a great idea, but thank you. As a matter of fact, I know that you don't get many visitors, but maybe don't tell anybody you saw us if you do.
Roll a persuasion check. Or I guess intimidation, if that's where you're kind of going.
I'm not intimidating anybody.
I didn't think so.
Don't want
So
these guys to
persuasion,
get hecatontriest.
Oh, God.
At 11.
Okay. She goes, I would say a concerned look goes across her brow, but goes, oh, okay. I will not.
All right. Well, is that about it? You guys ready?
Yep.
I would stand up from the table and again give them a slight nod/bow and say, thank you again, elders. We appreciate your hospitality.
Of course. May your travels through the mountains be safe.
Thank you. And I think we'd leave.
You find your man at the door.
Yep.
And he opens the door for you and follows you out. And is there anywhere else you wish me to show you?
Yes, I'd like to see that. Visit the craftsperson who does a Fletcher impersonation.
Sure, not a problem. Here, follow me. Do you all wish to go, the rest of you?
I mean, I guess we all have to go check out this entry together anyways, and I'm not going to go without Eldwin. So yeah, I guess we'll all go to the person who does the Fletcher impersonation. Eldwin condescended.
And don't forget, Metolius isn't with you either.
I mean, he's napping, so he can adventure with us later.
It's true.
All right.
It's true.
All right. Okay. So yeah, you walk through. He kind of leads you. You see what looks to be a small shack, and you hear the sound of hammer to anvil, and a heavy black smoke kind of pours out the top. And he goes, "This is the best craftsperson in town." And you look inside through the windows, and you see a pretty beefy-looking dwarf in your basic like blacksmith apron, shirtless, hair all tied back, beard tied very tightly and tucked within his apron, as he's kind of hammering down on what looks to be a large hook. He seems to be forming it over the end of the anvil. He kind of knocks on it and opens the door and goes, I'm sorry, Mormir. Could we bother you for a second? And this kind of, the shirtless dwarf kind of turns and you hear the hiss as he puts the hook into some, quenches it into some water. And he kind of goes, hi. What can I do for you all? And your friends. Hi, Mormir. What can I do for you?
Greetings. We are travelers passing through, but I'm wondering if you have some wares. In particular, I'm looking for arrows.
I have a few. I don't have too many. I mean, how many are you looking for? And
how many do you have?
We got about 100, give or take.
I will take them all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. And he kind of like looks a little bit surprised, but as he does, he goes and, gathers them up and grabs all of that, and he just brings over. He goes, sorry, not usually one to be selling arrows and things like that, but,
do they look like they're quality?
They're decent. They look like arrows. They're not like magical.
Yeah, no. I mean, I wouldn't expect that in a little backwater town, but, I just...
Y'all are real rude about
I was gonna say, so condescending today.
I wasn't saying that out loud. Side note, that was...
As a person from a backwater town, that's rude. Sure, it'd be about 5 gold.
For 5 gold. Yeah, there you are. I'll
Uh,
just give it.
he gives you a big old like basket worth of arrows,
I will put all of them into the quiver of Alona, and then just.
one after another. Just
Yep.
Well, that's fancy. Can I get you anything else? Does anyone need anything while you're here? I mean, I do your basic amount of blacksmithing, or if you need anything fishing wise, I could get you set up for that.
Can't say that I need fishing stuff, but thank you much.
No problem. Feel free to return anytime, I guess.
Yeah, we're probably weirdos. All right, heading out.
Excellent. Is there any place else you would like to go? Some libations, or some libations. That's pretty much all we have.
No, I think we need to go check out this door. This arch thing, or yeah, we gotta go scope that out while we're here.
Well, excellent. That is over that way. 8 points. Do you want me to come with you?
We can see it from wherever, right? Like, it's big.
Yeah, he points to it.
Yeah. No, I think we are good.
Okay. Well then, please do find me if you need anything else. I'll be at the docks. But have a wonderful time and a good stay, and be safe.
Sure. All right, you take it easy.
We're just gonna follow him back to the docks to get Metolius, right?
No, let's go look at the. I mean, Metolius is sleeping.
I mean, I think we can at least go scope the area without Metolius before we.
Yeah.
That's true.
Before we wake him up.
That's true. Let's go check it out. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got 100 more arrows to check it out with.
That's how Elduin checks it out. He just fires arrows to figure out how hollow it is.
We're not going in yet. We're just looking around.
So you all move through the town. You see, another group of people that looks surprised at the motley assortment that you have here. A kind of odd crew, as you would. And you make it to the very front of this large stone door. It's massive in scale. You obviously could have seen it from the docks. You notice, there's not much in the way of markings on it. A few dwarven runes, but most of it is pretty just sheared off, well carved out of the mountainside itself and brought here to close off the passage.
Does it look like we could get in at all?
The way it's set right now, it does not look like you get behind it.
How the fuck are we supposed to open this giant fucking door?
I mean, I don't think we open it. I think we find a different way in.
As everybody's standing there, Amelia's eyes are going to flash with a white sheen as she uses her Eyes of the Grave to look through it.
Okay.
Ooh.
How far can it look through?
Double checking, but I want to say it's 60 feet through solid material.
Okay. I would say inside is dark, and I don't know if your dark vision works through your Eyes of the Grave. That'd be a weird one on that. But you do notice that as you look through it, it is a lot thinner than you would expect. You stare through it, and Amelia notices that it's probably about maybe 3 foot thick.
And it's rock, 3 foot thick rock.
Inside is a completely open cave mouth that seems to go on for much farther than you can see.
What are you doing, Amelia?
Oh, it's called Ghostly Gaze, sorry.
No worries.
But I can see through solid objects to a range of 30 feet.
Okay.
Within that range, you have dark vision if you don't already have it.
There you go. Inside, though not well kept, it looks like it might have been somewhat of a tradeway, which is kind of what she was getting at, that this used to be a trade route between Kher Darom, Stormhaven, and all that.
Okay.
But it looks disheveled. There's definitely fallen debris. As you kind of look also, you notice that there underneath, if you kind of look down, you notice that there's a loosely carved groove below the door, as though the door itself may have moved at one point or another and not just been placed there.
So it looks like it should be able to open.
It looks like it could be able to open.
I don't see any sort of mechanisms or levers or anything like that nearby.
Nope. Doesn't seem like it.
Even if so Amelia, having this active for the next minute, she would take a look around in the immediate area to see if anything stands out.
The only thing that you really notice is that that groove, though well overgrown, now that you can kind of see through a bunch of the foliage and overgrowth, That groove goes past, basically to the left side of the door, as though this stone slab had been moved and moved back in previous occurrences.
Okay. As Elduin asks her that question, she's gonna say, I'm taking a look through it. There seems to be a groove here in the ground, just underneath this. It looks like it should be able to move. And look closer and see if that groove continues at all, or if she can see it end.
It definitely seems to end after about probably 20 feet.
Okay.
Off to the side.
And she's gonna kind of use her finger to trace along where she sees it, and she says, it runs along here. It looks like it should slide this way or something.
Well, fuck. I don't know. It's a pretty big door, but I don't know. You looking through it? Do you think we can push it or pull it or something?
It's pretty large. Looks like it's about 3 feet thick.
And what's the height and width of this door?
It would be, let's see. So it is about 20 feet high.
Oh.
And the width is about 20 by 20.
And 3 feet thick.
Yeah, that thing's heavy.
A big door.
Big door. Can I, looking at the outside of it, can I see if there are any arcane sigils or markings or something that's, a little bit more subtle?
Roll an Arcana check, please.
Love to. How about an 18?
No, nothing about it gives off the air of Arcana or magic. Seems like a pretty mundane door.
Okay. And it's in just a rock face, right? There isn't
it's on.
Yeah. There's not an around though. The round means going to the other side of the mountain.
No. I mean you have high mountainsides well as far as the eye can see on either side of you.
So can I dismiss my familiar and have them reappear inside the door? Doesn't say anything about being able to see where they reappear, but if I just am reappear that way 6 feet.
You know that the thickness of it, so you wouldn't be making them appear in solid matter. And I just would say you wouldn't be able to make them appear in solid matter. They're just back out. Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna have Teak just disappear and then reappear on the other side of the door, just 3 feet past the door, not too far. Does have dark vision, and I will look through his eyes.
How far can you look through his eyes before you lose?
100 feet.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, but I'm gonna double check that. Yeah. Well, I can communicate telepathically within 100 feet, and yeah. So I'm just gonna look around on the inside of the door and see if there's anything else that Amelia didn't tell me about, and if so, if nothing else, I'm gonna fly down the passageway just a short distance.
Okay. As you look back through Teak's eyes, you don't see anything out of the ordinary. You don't see any runes or writings or anything like that. You do notice that there seems to be, on the very top portion, there might be some scratches of a wear. Maybe where the door has rolled and kind of butted up against the mountaintop as it's moved. Or butted against the edge of the, actually archway. But you then turn Teak and head down. As you fly down the hallway, again, a disheveled and unkept tradeway is seen. You see that the cave itself rises about 5 more feet from the top of the door. Okay. And so you'd say the whole thing sits at about 20 feet wide and about 25 feet tall, with, your average amounts of debris from the ceiling coming down and just kind of littering the floor, as well as a few stalagmites and stalagmites throughout, especially after so many years. But from 100 feet, you don't really see anything, minus the fact that past that 100 feet, it goes well far into the mountain.
Okay. I'm assuming that my eyes are sort of glossed over, and there's a bit of a buzz about them as I'm doing this, and I'm gonna have Teak fly back to the other side of the door, and just for kicks, I'm gonna have him fly up to the top of the door, and just while fluttering there, just kind of give it a little push.
Okay. You see Teak push aimlessly at the top of the door.
Okay. Well, then I will have him disappear and reappear on my shoulder. And then I'm going to say, that corridor continues quite a ways down, and with no obvious means of us opening this door.
While that was happening, Amelia would have liked to use the rest of her time with her ghostly gaze to just kind of like walk a little bit further up and down the rock face a ways on each side of the door and see if like anything else pops up.
Okay. Roll an investigation check.
An 8.
Nothing else seems to pop up as you're going through. You were able to look through it, but again, past the opening of this area, the rock seems pretty damn solid.
Okay. As her vision ends and Elduin says that, she'll kind of like come back to the group and she'll say, well, I believe I can get us past this barrier, but since Metolius isn't with us, I don't think I'll be able to do so until tomorrow.
I also don't think we should go in without Metolius anyway, so...
Let's go wake him up. I don't know why he didn't just come with. Just go wake him up and then just drag him along.
He was a sleepy boy.
What time of day is it, DM?
It's pretty early it's like mid-morning at this point.
Hey, Amelia, what happens if you look at one of us when you have that gaze on? Can you see right through us?
DM?
I mean, yes. It's a solid object. You can look through it. I don't think you'd get to choose the level of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be like X-ray vision or anything like that. I just imagine it kind of being like you would be like a haze.
Yeah, it's like you're looking through fog there.
Yeah, kind of.
That'd be cool if you could like see what we ate and stuff.
She would just kind of say like, well, I mean, I can tell that you're there, you're in the space, but it's kind of like this odd haze, almost like an outline of you.
Interesting. Like a shade of us.
Sort of, yes.
Okay. You all find yourself standing there now, finding that this door seems not impossible, but, certainly a roadblock, no pun intended. All pun intended, question mark?
Yeah, intended.
Can I walk up
May be able to get us through there today, but it would be a much slower process. It would take a few hours.
Yes, you can, Rain.
Be one by one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk up the side, and I just want to investigate the rest of the door closer. Maybe check the seal at the top, see if I see any mechanisms or anything.
Sure.
Just get a closer look.
Well, then roll an investigation.
You got it. Ooh, I rolled a 7. What is my modifier? Investigation. Oh, +6, so 13.
Okay.
Are you proficient? Then can't you not
Oh,
roll?
I almost forgot. So then it has to be a 16.
Okay. You notice
So good.
It's great.
you notice that it, by all rights, is sealed only by the fact that the rock sits in front of it. It doesn't seem to be sealed any other way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you notice that you look at the top of the rock and there seem to be a lot of some decent grooves. More so maybe it had turned or rolled and some rocks had dug into the stone on the top. So, but all in all, it seems that finding a way to get this thing to, roll out of the way would be the baseline of how someone were to use this door.
Got it. Okay, I'll come back down.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you find Rain back at the bottom now. What do you all wish to do?
Yeah, I guess we could get through it. We should probably go get Metolius, though. And this kind of point to the pyre mall. Be like, you think I could just smash a hole in it or no?
I don't think the townsfolk would be super happy with us just breaking it open, but...
I guess you're probably right. All right, never mind. Cool, let's go kill some time.
Okay. You all head back to the ship, correct?
Yeah.
It doesn't take very long. You signal back, your dinghy returns, and you find yourself back.
So when we get back to the dock,
Yeah.
actually, Amelia would walk to the end of the dock with everybody and just keep walking as she casts Dimension Door and shows up on the ship, and she's like, okay, we're ready to go. We need to go pick them up.
You definitely startle freaking Ogden as you do that. Just Amelia. Yes, of course. Sorry. Didn't exactly expect you to do that, but Fine and dandy. I'll send the man out if you want to go with him, or you can stay here, obviously. Ship's in ship shape, though. Gonna have to use that one. Whew. Okay.
Any trouble while we were away?
Not at all. Pretty boring up top, not gonna lie. But that can be a good thing, depending on what comes next. Let's say that.
At least at these times. Take it while we can get it.
Yeah.
Is Metolius still asleep?
He is not arisen, to my knowledge. But if he happens to be awake in his chambers, well, that is not mine to bother.
And I think Amelia would just stay on the ship and send somebody back for him.
Okay. A few minutes later, the rowboat arrives at the docks, and yeah.
And we head back?
I guess we're just gonna kill time until Metolius wakes up?
When would Metolius wake up?
Let's see. So, I guess that probably around noon.
Okay. So it would be that much longer.
Yeah.
So you all return to the ship, and you kill a little bit of time, but as soon as the cook calls out for noon mess, I'd say, Metolius, you hear that. You smell something good kind of wafting through, and you find yourself back awake. Your arms are a little sore.
If we kill time on the ship, we could get a short rest.
Oh, yeah. I think so.
I take a bit of time, prepare my spells, and head for lunch.
No time. No time for lunch. We gotta go do some shit.
What?
We've been in Kher Darom all day, and this is the most boring city ever. Come on, we gotta fucking... Or not Kher Darom, sorry. We haven't actually been there yet. Stormhaven, all day. We're going to Kher Darom.
Oh, well, you could fill me in on the details while I eat my breakfast.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
This whole fuck...
What?
Let him eat. Let him eat.
You all notice Metolius a bit more swole. Are you wearing your armor at the moment?
No, not yet.
Okay, it shows through much better in the cloth than it does in the armor.
I need some protein. Grimtuck. Feeling a little depleted. I need to restock.
I'll take 6 raw eggs in a glass, please.
Yeah. Side of bacon. Yeah, so I get the deets on Kher Darom, or the door and whatnot, I would assume. And after we eat lunch, I'll go get my armor and my other stuff, and now we can go, Grimtuck.
You sure? You sure you're okay? You need to take a nap? Sure you did enough push-ups before we left? Should we stay till dinner and then go?
I mean, if you want, but you see,
Fuck!
I decided about it, so I thought I would indulge you.
Have we decided how we're getting inside?
I don't know. Like, we gotta probably look for another door, or I guess, if you want to try and get us inside, we could do that. Also,
So you're saying it's like a giant slab of stone that can slide?
It seems like it should be able to slide or roll to the side or something. There's inside the rock wall, there seems to be a groove of some sort that it seems to be able to move into.
Well, what if,
So at the very least, it has moved before.
Oh. Well,
Perhaps with your additional strength, we should try just pushing on it and see what happens.
Can't
see, I
hurt.
like the way you think, Eldwin. That's sort of what I was going to say.
give it a shot.
If it's not magically sealed, then...
If we're not able to move it physically, I won't be able to get us through until tomorrow.
That's fine, I think.
Well, we can stretch our legs and try.
To get us through, I won't be able to get us back out until the next day.
I don't think we were planning on coming back out immediately unless all hell breaks loose.
That's what I'm saying. If something does happen, we're on our own until then.
Well, I think we've survived worse.
Indeed.
I think it's worth a try. Let's go take a look at this door.
Yeah, we'll give her the old heave-ho.
Right. So, you all find yourself back on the rowboat. You find yourself back in the docks. You walk your way back up to the door. Sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled podcast, but this is Chris the DM here, wanting to let you know of a few awesome things going on right now, such as the Help Action podcast, run by Dix, Matt, Ethan, and Max, all here to take the help action and give you advantage on your role-playing experience. Check it out at help-action.com. or anywhere you can find your podcasts. Are you stumped in finding gifts for your friends who are into tabletop role-playing? Do you find yourself in need of a place to house your hoard of dice? Well, let me tell you, at Necrotic Damage on Etsy, our fair Rain, or Jessica, makes wonderful dragon-themed dice bags, perfect for holding a hoard worth of dice. Right now, she has a set for both metallic and chromatic dragons, and they are wonderful. Check them out at etsy.com/shop/necrotic damage. Last but not least, have you checked out our DM's Twitch channel? Well, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, our DM puts on a wonderful show, starting at 9 a.m. Monday and Wednesday Pacific Standard Time, and 3 p.m. Friday. He does a variety of gaming and art, and we definitely think you should check it out. Check it out at twitch.tv/DracmoreDigital. And now, without further ado, back to the podcast. As we all return to this, and find yourself through the town, through the village, and to the door once again, Metolius, you see a large slab of stone set over an arch that seemingly houses a path to the dwarven city you look for.
All right, then. He spits the Chan, rubs his hands together. Are we going to do this or what?
Yep, let's give it a shot.
I mean, I'll push for what I'm worth.
Yeah, if there's room, Amelia will squeeze in there and try and help.
It's a 20-foot wide door. There's room.
Yeah, but it's only 3 foot thick.
Oh my.
Just saying. Okay, so, hey y'all. What's your strength scores and what is it combined?
Mine's 25.
Mine's a 22.
Mine's 12.
Amelia's is now a 10.
You want just raw strength score?
Yep.
12.
Okay. I think with the gang together, you all kind of brace up against this door, and it doesn't move for a second, and but you don't give in. As you do, you push harder and harder, and you feel your feet sinking into the earth below, the rock, the dirt. But then you catch, and as you do, you feel a slight slip, and you keep pushing, and you keep moving, and as you do, you feel the rock start to turn underneath your fingers and your hands against your arms, whatever you're pushing with. As you keep going and going, more and more opens until you're able to push aside this giant slab, leaving the 20-foot hole open wide.
Woo!
I would say a sweat on your brow, but
Nice.
this is successful.
All right.
Should we close it behind us?
No. I mean, if we gotta, leave in a hurry because there's a plague behind us, let's,
Well, now that I didn't have to use it to get us in there, if we're in there till tomorrow, I can get us out.
I mean, but if we run across anything and you need your abilities, then we'll be stuck. I think let's just leave it open.
Do we think there's any risk of anything coming out and attacking the townsfolk?
My concern was them going in, because that seemed to be the Elder's concern.
You just see 20 kids just run past you all. Straight into the
Right.
I came to the wrong game.
It's like, yay!
No! We all know what's gonna happen.
Yep.
These kids are gonna get eaten. Yeah, let me tell you, gather around, children. Let me tell you a story about a man named Gare Bouvaz.
So,
So in we go then?
And we go.
that's my question. Okay, you start to head into the darkness. All of your dark vision obviously kicks in once you get to a certain point. And ahead of you lies this wide. You look at the ground and you notice old carvings of tracks still laying into the stone of the floor. All around you, debris, again, as I said, that you saw strewn about. You even notice that this may have been a wider road at one point, but because of the wear and tear and having no one to care for it in itself, is kind of shrunk down because the sides of the walls over time have just kind of schlepped off and fallen to the sides. Though you notice that even at maybe its peak, 2 carts could have passed by each other.
Yeah, I'll take the lead. Yeah, press forward.
Okay.
Maybe a bit of light, just to make sure that...
Just about to say that. Amelia would cast light as they head in, because Amelia does not have dark vision.
Yes. About a mile in, the entrance is just a pinprick of light behind you. Nothing seemingly has come of it, though ahead of you, more and more of these twists and turns, and a large, just open maw of blackness continues. The gray scale of your combined dark vision sees very little out of the ordinary from where you stand at the moment.
Just to be specific, Amelia would cast light on her staff that is stowed in her backpack on her back, and she would have her rod in her hand.
Sounds good.
Nice. You're like one of those anglerfish into the dark.
Just like hanging over your head.
Light oak hanging over your head, yeah.
So mostly right now, this just seems like a road. It has ruts in the road for like wagons and things, but there's no like domiciles anywhere. Like we're not seeing any like buildings nearby that look like people would be living in them.
Domiciles. Yes.
Yeah.
No, there are none. But as the elder was saying, this was a tradeway.
Yeah.
Possibly a connecting road between here and Kher Darom.
Just a guy on the side of the road selling oranges type shit. Right.
You continue forward. About 2 miles into the passage, you do see something out of the ordinary. A tunnel at almost a right angle seems carved into the left side of this passageway, as though something had come out of the wall.
Oh, this is like busted out.
Not exactly. Like you don't see a giant amount of like rubble across the way. What you do see is that there is a connecting hole on the opposite side, a huge hole. This one probably fitting to sit about maybe 5-10 feet below the ceiling, and just as wide. You also notice a few odd things about this. You notice that there's a lot of kind of sand and dirt that line the ground now from here. You even notice the edges look weird. It looks pulverized, almost disintegrated.
That is strange.
Amelia would just walk up to one of the openings to just like take a look inside and see if she can see anything with her light, just like right inside she's not going to walk into it. She's going to stand at the opening.
Sure. Roll me a perception check. Eldon, you also wanted to do something, it sounded like.
I just wanted to think and think about whether or not this looks familiar to me, like something I've heard of.
Sure. Roll me a nature check. Ooh. Amelia.
Yeah, natural 20 on perception.
Hell yeah.
7 on the nature check.
Eldwin, you're not sure. The underground doesn't really fall within your privy of information.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be many things. This could just be a natural formation. Though, Amelia, you notice that there may not be anything instantly inside, but you notice that kind of long, deep cuts and scratches into the stone kind of run from one hole to the other, as though something traveled through from the left to the right side.
All right.
As you're kind of all like looking around and seeing this scene, I'd love you to roll me an investigation check as you're all kind of like walking through this.
16 for Rain.
16.
22 for Amelia.
11 for Metolius.
15.
So Amelia, Metolius, and Rain, you all notice that in these like, tracks of dust that seemingly had come from something kind of maybe coming through or something breaking down, you notice what look to be footprints, thin as they were.
So like thin, but like otherwise human-sized?
Humanoid, yes.
I will point that out to anyone who did not see it.
Can I identify these tracks with my years of wilderness survival?
Sure, you can actually, yeah. The tracks are pointed out to you, and you notice that there's a few different ones. There's boot prints. There's also these odd, like, kind of angular divots in the stone, almost like someone took a spear and stabbed it in the ground, but too even on either side to actually be someone doing that for any other reason. Almost looks like something walked on fine legs. There's also these odd kind of shaped feet. They almost look malformed. Multiple toes ending in like a fine point. This looks oddly not humanoid in its make. But yes, Roll me a nature check, Metolius.
I was going for more of the survival, but they're both the same thing, so it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Ooh, a 23.
23. You notice, would you rather a survival? Like kind of leading to like focusing on where this is all going on?
No, I guess more identification on this. I do want to try and follow them, but...
So you kind of look down, and as you do, you notice that they have, from your knowledge of tracking and that kind of thing, the fine features of the boot prints look very similar to maybe your companions' soft footfalls, Elduin's. Almost like an elven step, one to never leave too much trace. The other ones are odd. I don't think you recognize them very much. The odd-toed ones seem almost wrong, malformed even.
More like a bestial?
More monstrous even.
Okay.
Than bestial.
All right.
I would say the other ones though, the odd like spear points, none of it doesn't really click to exactly what you're looking at.
I think.
And they definitely, these footprints move down the hallway deeper in, not parallel.
Someone light of foot came through here, along with some other things.
Well, what do we want to do? Do we want to follow these tracks, or do we press forward?
Can I start to follow the tracks and see where they are going?
Mm-hmm. Sure, I guess now roll me a survival check as you follow these tracks.
24.
These tracks head down this tradeway. You fall into the trap of being, not into a trap, but into the fact of past this large amount of debris and dust and sand, it goes back to kind of rock. So it's a little harder to follow, but you notice that all of these tracks, outside of like the like heavy digs into the earth that Amelia had saw that follows parallel down to the other hallway, or perpendicular down the second hole, they all seem to follow towards this, head down the tradeway deeper in. They also seem to have possibly come from inside the exit hole.
Okay. So these folks came through this giant tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
and then they turned and went toward down the road, but the
Mm-hmm.
giant tunnel continues across the road.
Yes. Into the
Whatever
darkness. And
burrowing, just kept on burrowing into the darkness. Well, the tracks lead to down the road, so we should keep our eyes out for the minions of the Spider Queen, maybe? It's the only elves I know of that live underground, so...
I'm gonna sort of make a face at that.
It's dark. No one can see it.
Yep, well, some people have dark vision, Grimtar.
everyone but Amelia. Actually, Amelia, yeah, I was going to say, it's not dark. Amelia has a light.
And I do have dark vision.
Everyone sees
I'm
Elven Scowl.
Yes.
Concerned elven face.
So you continue?
I mean,
Yes.
all right, let's, we'll do our thing here. If we run into them, then, we'll deal with it.
Perhaps Eldwin could enlighten us into what we might face.
If we are fighting against the Drow, then expect a well-prepared fighting force of skilled warriors and deadly magicians.
What do you make of these these monstrous bestial tracks? And then what do you make of these fine pointed shapes?
I don't think I know. Was that under the previous nature roll that I made, DM, or is that a...
Roll the nature on the giant hole.
Right, okay. Then I would like to, rack my brain about these tracks.
I would offer you advantage.
Great. Nature still?
Yes, please.
I'm going to go with a 15.
Are you sure? You don't want to go with 15?
Yeah. Both of them are, in fact, 15, and so I think I'm going to go with a 15.
Okay. If you feel that's right.
That's 15, right?
So, you see in there, what looks to be obviously drow tracks. There's no question there. It is very obvious. There's a few things. The foot, the odd toed step, kind of kicks in a few memories, and it's not one that sits very well with you. You know the Drow have connections with, obviously, the Spider Queen, but also other demonic forces, and they quite enjoy their connection with that. And a creature known as Dragoloth, if I'm not mistaken.
Dragoloth.
It is a creature that is well into tainted by drow tainted by demonic magics.
Mm-hmm. So this unfortunately seems to be the tracks of a Dragoloth. I have faced them before, actually.
You know them to be odd hunched creatures with long manes and multiple arms. And again, those almost like claw-pawed foot.
Mm-hmm.
They're terrible looking fiends. I would say with a 15 as well, you know that drow technology is a terrible and horrible thing. A lot of it is used for the worst kinds of torture and attack. And you know of a mechanical device that you've seen only once, but a spider-like automaton known as a retriever. You may never have faced it, though seen it at a distance, and it is terrible, and it holds great, terrible, and horrible power. And you believe that might be what those odd spear-tip indents are.
Well, these appears. It seems to me like this is a retriever. It is a drow weapon of war. Imagine a large spider. Would you say clockwork is an appropriate descriptor for it, Storyman?
I would say, again, more automaton.
Yeah.
I think clockwork gives a specific note that it does not fit.
It's an automaton, an automated spider. Very dangerous. I've seen them before on the field of battle, and it is not a pretty sight.
We ought to tread carefully then.
Yes, we should tread very carefully. Evidence of these two indicates that there's some presence here of drow and most likely followers of Lolth.
The word sticks in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, we shall be careful. At least I shall. Watch our backs. Do not stray far into the darkness alone, I suppose.
Okay.
What could they want in the city?
I mean, I think the question is, did they show up after the dwarves are gone, or are they the reason the dwarves are gone?
An interesting question. They are a long-lived race like myself, though, so you might find that if they are the reason, some of them who were there when it happened are still very much alive and active.
Well, maybe we'll get some answers then.
Indeed.
Can I tell how old the tracks are, Dungeon Master, with my survival check?
Yes. I would say with your survival check on these tracks, they're not very old. Actually, they're pretty recent, probably within the past day, if not a little sooner than that. Though you think that the tunnel that was made by the large creature may be a bit older.
Well, if they are playing the long game, they certainly have accomplished that. They've only just arrived into this area. This particular group, at least. So,
Interesting.
I'm sure they could have concocted some sort of disease many years ago, but
That would be well within their capabilities.
right. And whoever these drow are, they just arrived.
Well, shall we continue down the main path then?
I think so.
Our goal remains unchanged, but
Mm-hmm.
we're just that much more informed and need to be that much more on guard.
Indeed.
My hood is very much up at this point.
Got it. You see Elduin throw his hood up as you continue forward down into the darkness, only lit by Amelia's staff. Throughout, I would say you are able to follow these steps and tracks. Anytime an amount of sand or loose dirt is seen, that you can see a few of these. You even notice a few more large pieces of rubble seem to have been disintegrated or broken down by something, as like what looks to be a large boulder that may have sat well on the way, cracked in half, and the middle of it just shorn and now just piles of dirt on either side. But as you move through, it takes some time. By the end of this, you've traveled easily close to 5 miles into the darkness. No sign of this drow party, though, well, no physical sign other than their tracks and their leavings of things like, the broken stone. But off in the distance, as you kind of round one last corner, this is a winding path. There are times where you have to take moments and move as silently as possible up to the edge, look around to just double check, but nothing is there. Nothing is ahead of you. Till finally, as you turn one last corner, a long stretch of road, this time a little bit less broken down, as it were. The path a little more clear. It seems as though you seem to move head more towards the area. And as you do, a glint of something can be seen off in the distance. Ahead of you, as you move around that corner and you look now with Amelia's light shining upon it, a beautifully inlaid door sits ahead of you. This wonderful carved and pieced together art piece. A jovial dwarf with what looks to be just wheat and cup that runneth over. A large tome in one arm laughs and smiles a welcoming smile. Down the very center of it, the form is a seam that seems to split as though where the door parts ways. But unlike before, here there are signs of a combat. I would like you all to roll nature check, as there are 2 hulking beasts lying motionless on the ground.
DM, is this something that I should be rolling advantage for?
No, I do not think so.
Okay, well, I got a 19 anyways.
There you go.
10 for Rain.
I would say Amelia and Elduin kind of pick this out, maybe from past experience. Amelia, even from your lack of knowledge of where you're from, your knowledge of the world itself hits a few red flags. These creatures, these almost insectoid-like cave-dwelling creatures were Umberholts. 2 of them lie dead upon the ground, their bodies half almost powdered to dust. But among them, a drow warrior ripped in 2, mayhaps by these creatures before they fell, lies disemboweled and eviscerated, a pool of blood underneath the corpse that has yet to fully dry.
Ooh, let's check out that guy and see if he has any insignias or anything on him.
Yeah, Amelia would point out the blood. She would be like, this blood isn't dry. This is very recent.
As you turn and look at different things, as your light does not catch everything, along the wall there are 5 stones in an arch. Each of them with a very defined carving, almost looks like the top of a sarcophagus. The image of a being carved into it, looking as though they are dead below it. Eyes closed, hands crossed over things, or in certain positions. 5 of them line this, and when the light is not exactly shining on them, you notice a dish below them with a slight blue glow kind of coming off it. This is on the wall to the left of the door, and is seen, again, only in moments where the light is not shining. It is not invisible, but that kind of odd glow only appears when it's not drowned out by Amelia's light. But as you move towards the drow in front of you.
I would like to, inspect this drow.
Inspect it. Investigate, please.
28.
So you look at this warrior, you notice a familiar set of fine and horrid swords strewn onto the ground, covered in the gore of the 2 Umberhooks. The insignias, though they are there of the Spider Queen, the house that this person is with is not as evident to you. though you may know a few house insignias of the Drow from your previous warrings. This one does not ring any form of bells. But you do notice that they are male, which you would expect that to mean a warrior class, and mayhaps not magically inclined.
This is but a foot soldier. I do not recognize this house. They were not there in Alhassa, but we should be careful.
You do notice that the insignia of the house seems to be like this blackened webbing with almost crossed legs of a spider, and inside it holds a drop of blood. Like
You said that's the insignia?
it is.
Okay.
And now in front of you, this large, beautiful inlaid door sits closed. You notice that in front of it looks like the dirt or soil had been disturbed, as though it had opened in some form or fashion. And can you what? Sorry.
I was going to say, can I cut the insignia off of the
Of course.
clothing? Okay. I'm going to stow that.
Yeah, war trophy. I mean, you didn't kill him, so... But I won't tell anybody.
This is not a trophy. This is for information, Grimtuck.
Oh. I was like, go home and show your parents. Be like, look what I did when I was adventuring. But okay, fine.
Look what I
Put
did.
it on the fridge.
Yeah.
I mean, there are elves. They're probably still...
My parents would be more than happy to see that I had killed this foe, but I am
That's
not
what I mean.
grabbing this for trophy.
All right.
I think Metolius would be looking at this strange blue glow.
Okay.
So what, Amelia?
So the two of you walk over as the rest examine the drow, and this strange blue ghost sits within this, like, almost this vessel that holds 10 perfectly carved egg-size stones. Each of them, you notice what looks to be almost sapphire veins running through, but the glow comes from these perfectly carved runes in each stone. There are 10 egg-shaped, rune-carved, sapphire inlaid stones, and the glow actually emanates out like pulses out of the rune.
All right.
What do these mean to me?
What do they mean to you? I don't think you're totally sure.
I mean,
What-
do I understand like what their purpose is or what this contraption is?
I guess you could roll Arcana. You also that's just the stones in front of you. Ahead of on the wall are 5 large slabs, probably about 3 feet by 2 feet wide. Each of them houses a different figure, and again, all of them looking like a death mask. Below each of those is a socket about egg-shaped. On each of the masks, on the first, there is an elf warrior. He seems to be wearing armor. The elf nature is very obvious in the large, fully pointed ears, very similar to Elduin's, hair tied back. And you notice that his hands are crossed below a sword, and on the hilt of the sword, a very familiar symbol, one of which you now know to be the Twilight Sword. The second, a tabaxi in fineries. Again, this is all stone, but you can tell the robes are made of good silks, things like that, holding a lute. Hands kind of curled around it, claws wrapped in. The third, and this is in like ascending order, so elf on the lowest point, second tabaxi, third at the very point and highest point, looks like a old dwarven wizard. A high hat and a beautiful staff crossing against his chest, holding it. The fourth, now once again descending, a female, almost human looking individual, but above her, a crown of fire. Flames lick at a tall standing hair, and across her chest, her fists, and wraps around them. And finally, at the very end, a much more obvious human. This one in heavy armor, a beautifully inlaid mace in one hand, almost looking like a king on a playing card. The other, a shield almost going to his chin from the ground, and on his chest, the symbol of the sun.
Can Amelia read what these runes say?
What languages do you speak?
She speaks Celestial, Common, and Abyssal.
You cannot.
I probably won't be able to read them, but are the runes different on each stone?
They are. Every one of them is a different rune. Does anyone speak Dwarvish?
I think Rain technically does, but I think I've always pictured it more she speaks very basic Dwarvish that she would have picked up just around Neverwinter, not like... I don't know if I know the writing, but I'll leave that up to you.
If Amelia doesn't recognize the writing, she would slip her Rod of the Pack Keeper into one of the side pockets on her backpack and remove her staff, and she would grip it and cast Comprehend Languages from it.
Sounds good.
And then she would pick up one of the egg-shaped stones to see what it says, because she has to touch the writing to be able to read it.
The stone you pick up is the rune for ice.
Interesting. I'll pick up another one and see what it says.
Light.
I'm just going to say that out loud. Amelia will say, ice and light.
Do you go through and touch all of them?
After that, yeah, I think she would pick up each one and she would kind of say what they are as she reads them.
So overall, you get ice, light, fire, tree, or twilight, sand, life, magic, and hammer.
It's a lot more than I expected.
There are 10.
There's 10 of them, yeah.
But each, there's only one...
There's only 5 faces.
Okay, and there's only one, socket for each of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there's no other writing? It's just the runes on the stones?
Just the runes on the stones.
I mean, I got a hammer. That's about it.
So...
Amelia's going to say, do you think we match them somehow?
I mean, I would assume. I think we know who they are.
I was going to say each of you in turn recognize one of these faces. Very, very true.
Amelia's going to take fire and set it in Flair's slot.
Okay.
And I will take light and put in our Thume slot.
The two of you put the stones, the runic stones in the slots. They set in, the light kind of flashes and then stays lit as it sets.
What are the rest of the stones?
What were they
Ice,
again?
life, sand, twilight, magic, tree, ore, and hammer.
I will take the magic stone and put that on your eggs.
Okay. Once again, as it sets in, it glows a light and stays lit.
I'll try and put the life one into Bells and just see if it works.
It sets in and glows a light.
Huh.
I will take the Twilight Stone and set it into race depiction.
As you do, it glows a light as well. And all 5 of them glow brightly. And as they do, the glow kind of emanates out and then shuts off instantly. And as it does, you hear this odd sound behind you all. Like the snapping of electricity as this gigantic bolt of lightning fires out across, and I would like you all to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Oh,
damn it.
we were wrong.
But the people who can see it and get out of it don't see this because it comes from behind. That would be you, Grimtuck.
It's the people, so Grimtuck does not get.
Barbarians in the room. Is this a spell? Like a protective?
It does seem more like a protective yes.
Okay, if it comes from a spell, then everyone who's standing within 10 feet of me will take half damage.
Which is about everyone.
So, I didn't do well. I'm assuming a 7 is not going to pass, so I would like to use Indomitable.
Wait, did you say advantage, Metolius?
No, they'll have resistance on... everyone within 10 feet of me has resistance to spell damage.
Okay.
But you would also get +4 on your save because of my aura protection.
Sweet. Then I got a 19.
I rolled a natural 20.
No, not a D4. You just add 4, Eli.
Oh, okay, just +4. Okay.
Yeah, you just add my charisma modifier to your save.
Okay, well then it's a 20.
With my natural 20, and then plus the bonuses, I end up with a 33.
I got an 11. I'm guessing that wasn't good enough.
Amelia got a 12.
Even with the +4? Yeah, that would not be good enough.
Okay, I would like to use Indomitable and re-roll that.
Okay.
That's a 15.
Okay. So 33 halved because you have resistance. Because you're next to Metolius. So that's effectively a 16 for Amelia, and less than that for anyone else who succeeded. Which everyone over a 15 succeeds. A 15 or not.
15 and up. Yeah, just enough.
So if you succeeded, you take 8, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Does my... I think I take 0. Is it like an area of effect kind of thing?
Evasion, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, evasion. I don't take any damage.
You dodged the lightning bolt.
Yeah, what the hell's...
You're all kind of blown forward as the stones all fall back into the tray as though, like, guided.
Alright, so I guess we were fucking wrong.
So
I feel like mine was wrong. Like, the other ones seem right, but... The only other one that would be for bells is probably, like, sand.
You try it. I mean, I feel pretty confident that mine was right, but...
I would say you also now know where it's coming from, Grimtuck, and could plan ahead.
Yeah.
I do also feel that mine was correct, but
I feel pretty good about mine, given Yorig is a wizard.
I mean, Bells uses a lot of magic, but he's, like, also, you know, bard, so I was like, he's full of life, and then I just went with, you know, that, but I don't know. Didn't know we were going to get hit by lightning, so figured we maybe had a couple tries. But yeah, everybody get back. Let's plug all the ones in except for Bells, and then I'll plug in that one.
Okay.
Amelia will put the fire wolf stone back in Flare.
I'll
Okay.
put the light stone back in Arthune.
we'll put the Twilight Stone back in Wraith.
Magic and Yorig.
Okay.
And
Everyone
what are the other
stands
options?
back?
Best to be 4, because I'm like a little singed, and I'm like looking behind me, looking forward, look at the other stones.
Okay.
Uh,
I would say Amelia probably hands you the sandstone then, because you can't
Okay.
read Dwarvish.
okay.
If that's the one you wish to use, unless there's a different
Well, I
one.
was asking, what are the other ones?
The other ones are ice, life, which you already had put in, sand,
Yep.
tree, ore, and hammer.
Well, it's not ore and hammer. It could be sand or tree, but not really tree. He wasn't really a tree kind of guy. Definitely, let's go with sand.
Okay. So Grimtuck places sand within the stones, and like the others, it glows and stays. And as it does, a fine line appears at the very top of the door and grows down till it hits the bottom. As it does, a soft sound of the door swinging open against sand as it moves slowly and opens wide. As it does, Grimtuck, out of the corner of your eye, you see these stones all go dark and fall back into the catch together again. And ahead of you, a wide open cavern, softly lit by some form that you can't tell from where you're standing, and a city sits in front of you. And that is where we're going to call it today. Hey yo, Chris here again. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to give a like, a comment, or even share it with a friend. A 5-star review on Apple Podcasts would really help us reach a wider audience. If you like us and like to learn more about us, check out our website at www.swordcast.com. We also have a lot more character information and world information there too. Follow us on our socials at The Swordcast on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And finally, if you like us and like to help support us, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/theswordcast, where for only $5, you can listen to Matt or Metolius run a bunch of us through the Tomb of Annihilation module, which has been one heck of a ride. All in all, thank you so much for listening. And as always, don't worry, you'll be hearing from us soon. Bye-bye.